Hello everyone and welcome to chapter 6 where we're going to cover nature scenes, or at least we're going to focus on some parts in nature like grass, trees, pebbles and other things we find in nature. So for a lot of people nature can be very challenging because when you create grass it can look like plastic or not realistic, and it's a really challenging part when you work with environments. You can create a nice building, and then you think, well, I'm going to add some grass in my scene, and then it looks very fake, and it can ruin even your scene. And I like to learn you some tricks to add nature in your scene, or in this chapter, we're going to create the parts of the nature. And later we can add all these objects in our scenery. But it's very important because when you do not put nature in the scene, it looks empty and not realistic at all. So you have that challenge and you want to add it, but you don't want to make it fake. So, well, we were going to cover that. And we will start with grass. But before we start, I'd like to show you a photo that I created. I'll start with this one. It's in a park nearby, and it's a very it looks like a Dutch scenery because you have the blue sky with the white and gray clouds, and then we have the contrast of the green trees and the grass. And a mistake that a lot of people make, and I did it as well, is when you start creating grass, it's not that you open Blender and create some strands, green strands, and putting it all on a plane, and then you have this effect. No, it will look very fake, and that's what we try to avoid. And how can we do that? That is by studying the grass. So I have that video where I talk about what grass is, but in this photo you can see that there is green and there is also brown. That's the dead places. And you have these white flowers, and it's really hard to see what it is, but it doesn't matter. There are white and yellow flowers. And you also have the weeds everywhere. So putting it all together makes it look like this plane. And this one is very flat, but some planes are not flat. You have these small hills in it, and that looks cool as well. So in the following two parts, I will focus on creating a grass plane, and we will find out what kind of challenges we have, but I think we can do lots of great stuff. So I'm going to close this image and I will open another one. And when we focusing a bit more on grass, you see a lot of things are happening. So it's not just that green strand, what you see. It's way more what's happening. You have that ground here. Well, that's not what you're really seeing, but these brown strands popping out, and you have these sides popping up. It's really important to getting the right effect. So, I will use this as a reference. But before we start with a clean scene, I like to show you one of my scenes so you can get an idea how we're going to work. I'm going to minimize this and open this one. So I like to make something like this, and we can render it. You can do the side view. To get this effect, I like to start with creating different pieces of grass, like this. So you get bigger ones, smaller ones, and then we're going to give it a name, like grass 4, grass. And later we're going to make a plane and using with particles and putting all these ones together. That's the smart things to do. Yeah, all right. I'm just scanning it a little bit. So, and then of course we also have the material settings. And the material of grass is I use a texture and it's, I guess, this one or that one. It's just a strand. It's so not a complete green image, just some gradient green. I will use the diffuse one, and I will combine that with a translucent shader. And translucent is, it makes it a bit transparent, but it also reflects a bit of the green. And that's very important, because if you have a lot of grass, it will affect each other. That's why you have the translucent. And we also use a little bit of glossy, because grass is of course not totally diffused. When you have some wet grass, you will have some reflection. Well, we put it all in a mix shader, and that's it. It's not more fancy. You can make it as fancy as you want, but I'm not going to do that. So we like to start with a clean Blender. And as you can see, I'm working with a newer version of Blender, Blender 2.76b. Yeah, I'm making this course over time, so sometimes a new Blender is coming in, and then I will use it. One of the great features in this Blender is that the viewport is faster, and that's what we need when we're going to work with grass, because it's really going to hit the performance of the computer. So we have the cube, and we're going to remove that. And to start, we are going to add a plane, and we're going to rotate that by 90 degrees. So this is our first sort of strand, and one of the things I have to do is user preferences, plugins, and it's button. No, what was it? Let me see. I like to have the settings that you can see my buttons. I'm going to pause this video. Alright, I have it activated. When I use a new version of Blender, it's not coming with the program, so I had to download the plugin. So I'm back, and we were creating the grass strand. So the thing what I need to do is first Blender render to cycles render. Okay, and yeah, we're going to start. And I like to put this image in the background, because then we have something to look at. Background images, add an image, open, and we go to texture. No. Oh, where did I put it in? I don't know. There it is. Okay. Ooh, maybe a bit more visibility. There you go. Opacity. All right. We're going to size this a little bit. You can do that in edit mode. That's a bit better. And yeah, just drag it. When you start, it's always a little bit like, where should I start? What's the best thing to start? Well, the fun is there isn't really a way to do it right, and feels maybe a bit like, ooh, scary. But just try something out. Go wild. Go. I mean, you will find out if it looks odd. Well, I don't think so. So, like, well. And before I continue, I press Ctrl R and put this right there. And why is because I can make these sides branches. I say it right? Branches? It's not really branch, right? Alright, and then there we go. And it's getting smaller. And smaller. And then we take this one, and it's growing. But smaller on top. And finally, it's very small. Alright, cool. And same for this one. And it's small. So we're going to do this a couple of times. So I can imagine that there's another one. Maybe I'd just like to make this a bit bigger. Yeah, why not? Right. And it's really sometimes a pain when creating nature in 3D, because everything is that straight and nature isn't straight at all. So get used to it to have some challenges with it. But in the end, it will be fine. You know, don't panic. It's just grass. You know, it's not that angry. And now I like to have something in here or there. Yeah, let's put one there. Oh, go with the flow and extrude it. I think this is going to be very nice grass. And later on you can make additions. If you don't like it, you change it. I don't like this one at all. But no panic. Another one here. All right. Okay. Does it look like the same as this? Nope. But that's not a big problem at the moment. I'm talking and thinking at the same time. So if I sound a bit like, what are you doing? Have you any idea what you're doing? Yes, I know, but I need to focus. So I'm looking at it, thinking, looking again, and then I think, well, that's fine. I think when we twist it a little bit like so. Oh, that's good. All right, the next thing, what we're going to do, and of course we're going to make lots of additions, but I like to start with adding a texture. Use nodes. First, we add a material. We like to use an image texture. We're going to open one of my textures, and I like to start with this green one. Yes. And I like to use another one. New, open. Just a new material, a new texture. And I like to use that one. So we have the green and the brown. And yes, of course, you can also use colors from the editor. But I like to have the little bit of variation, and textures give you that variation. So now we have to make it grass green. Very important to name your materials. Grass brown. There you go. All right. So most of the time, yeah. Well, this grass is just totally green. So I will not use the brown. Okay, make it a bit smaller. And we copy everything. And we hit project from view. It doesn't mean that's the way I'm going to texture, but at least I already have the coordinates. And that's something I really prefer. Do it again. Oh, it's just not refreshing. And we want, hey, it's calling it grass detail. Strand detail. Grass detail. Free. And I'm going to scale this. Well, let's say I'm adding another material. And I want an image texture. Open. Texture. And I have another one over there. It's, I think, more... yeah, this color. And I like to use that on the bottom. I use grass light. Yeah, light green. Yeah, and assign it. So you project from view, and I scale this a little bit. Whoops, there we go. Okay, then we select the rest of our image and assign it to this green. Assign it. And we're going to the green. So, and what's left to do is I'm going to scale this, and you want to put this in the right direction, like so. But here, and on top it's getting a bit more darker. You don't want to put this in the white. It looks really odd. Right, a bit more like this. You don't want it. All right, and now, and you think, well, all the part is in the white. That's true. We're going to cover that soon. By soon, I mean now. All right, and we select this one. It's always a little bit putting it the right. Oh, damn it! No, right there. Cool. That's how we make nature. We selecting and we are putting it on the right places. That's all it is. You need to have a lot of patience. But if you have, you get some nice, very nice scenery. So I bring it more on top. And of course, all these textures are in this course included. So now we're going to the texture mode, and yeah, I mean, it's not bad. All right. The next thing, my English is, it's not always that good. So it's just important that it's a little bit curvy. And okay, so this is our first piece of grass. And of course, when we go to the side, it's totally flat. So now we have to make some shapes. So I select the top. And I press O on the keyboard. And I do something like this. Oh, and make it smaller. This, and it can use one more. And there. You can see I already tweak it. And then I select that one. And I do some really weird behavior, but it doesn't really matter, like rotating it, because there is not really a workflow on how you make grass. You know, it's just, if you think this is the way, just try it out. I'm trying to that it's not affecting that one. Oops, and maybe a bit back like this, but try to make it not flat, you know. This is way too in the safe mode. But I'm still working on it. And then I deselect it like this, and bang. Then we can use that one. So like, oops. Okay, cool. I'm still not really happy with it. And I cannot really explain why that is. Don't like the, oh, look at that. And maybe it looks so, and so. Oops. Oh, it's starting to look a little bit like grass, you know? Wows. Yeah. What I will do now is press shift. Oh, no. Grass 1. We call this grass. Ooh, so many things to think about. 0, 1. Alright. And we will do one more strand. And then I will close this part and switch to the next one. Or else this part is getting really long. And talk about it. How good grass is. Anyway, shift D. And we call this grass 0, 2. And I like to start with this piece. And yes, I like to go through the material and assign the brown part. For some reason, oh, I called it straw. That's logic. Putting it a bit there, so we have a bit of green there, so it doesn't look really odd. So, cool. Ooh, let's take a look. Yeah, we have one piece of brown. And we can do it exactly for more parts, like this one. Assign it, and then don't forget to put it on the right position, because that will be a big deal. Yeah, and I mean, it's no problem that there is a hard cut because you really won't see it. But in the end, everything together will look strange. So of course, this piece of grass looks the same. Like that one. I will put a paste it like this. So let's just put it off. So a cool trick is we're going to rotate it, or in edit mode. Yeah, I'll do it in edit mode. And you want to put this on the origin. Very important. Okay. And of course you need to do different stuff like this. Like, and this piece of was totally different. And the nice stuff is that you don't have to change the textures. I mean, of course, maybe it will affect it a lot, but that's no problem because it's just the textures are not there to be perfect. Okay, and it's still it's a bit different, but still the same shape. But then you can select it like so. And that one, like, and just rotate it. Look at that strand. Okay, and that's the second one. Well, let's do one more, and then we finish this part. So Shift D, and we call it 0, 3. I will make this. Make it smaller, like so. And yeah, well, you get an idea, you know. It's just you tweak it till you think it's not looking the same as the other one. Whoops. It's really that simple. Of course, it's not simple, but now we're getting the challenge of the 3D viewport. Like, you think you're doing it right, and then you look, and then you totally ruined it like this. You're like, oh no! Try to avoid that. Oh, look at that. It's looking exactly the same shape. Like there's a lot of wind coming in. Well, let's try this mode. Well, why not? And then the smaller one. Oh, okay. And yeah, it's true. It looks a bit odd. But try to use your magic. And with magic, I mean, it's not your, really in that sense, the word, but a lot of people are scared to do strange things with a model. They want to do it perfect, like how it's described in the books. But the fun thing is, when you do something really weird with your model, it can look perfect. All right, I don't know if this looks perfect, but at least I'm trying it. All right. Yeah. Okay. So I also like to change this bottom one. Like, I don't know, it's brown. So putting it there. Oh, don't affect it. So, let's do it again. Again. Yeah, deselect it. Whew. So much stuff to think about. Will you assign it? Very important, or else it will not display it. So, yeah. Well, guess what? I just make a new projection. It looks a little bit stretched. Okay, and then we stop this part. I think it's good by now. So we have three different kinds of strands. And in the following part, I will continue this. I will add a material, and I will make a first bunch of grass, so like the puff, like where all these parts coming together. That's really fun stuff. But yeah, this is the end of the first part of chapter 6, and see you in the next one. Bye.